hear them. We would like people to know that they're there because we think it'll help deter crime. Someone once said, Archie wanted us to get that big banner that flies around that says some bank or something, Geico. That's it, the Geico banner. He wants us to fly around with a big banner that says, don't forget we're watching. But we thought that'd be kind of creepy. The drones, yeah, we don't usually see drones. Drones are limited to 400 feet. Yeah, they're limited to 400 feet, and we fly much higher than that. From 400 feet, you can't see much, and you can't fly them higher than that because the FAA won't allow it.
I'm kind of confused. If someone tries to shoot somebody, how can you see that from 5,000 feet?
Well, we build a very specialized camera. So a normal video camera is about a million or a third of a million pixels. A high definition video camera, 1080p if you will, is about 2 million pixels. 4K video is about 8 million pixels. Well, our camera systems are 200 million pixels, and our newer cameras are about 495 million pixels. So we're equivalent to thousands of ground-based cameras at once. Now, this is being paid for by a donor out of Texas who wants to evaluate the impact of this system on crime within the city.
What is his name? What is his name?
Oh, it's the Arnold Ventures is the organization that's funding this effort. And they've funded all sorts of things down to school glasses for elementary school kids, and they measure how much impact it has. So they do social policy research efforts. Matter of fact, they've been working a whole lot on the cashless bail program.
Okay.
How many people are you hiring?
We have just hired 21 locally, and we brought some in from Ohio with some experience, and then we're hiring about 8 or 9 pilots. So about 35 to 40 people locally.
If I want to apply, what would I have to do?
Right now, we went out and canvassed and got a lot of folks, but if you send me your resume, that would be great. And what we'll do is I'll pass that to my HR guys as they try to put a team together. My email is McNuttr, that's McNuttr at PSS-1. That's the letter P, the letter S, the letter S, the minus sign, the number 1.com.
All right, let's see if we can get another caller before we go on break. Thank you, caller. Next caller. How you doing, caller?
Hello?
Hello?
Anybody on? All right, well.
We're trying anyway.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the buyback from the program was excellent because the shot cameras, they didn't buy back. The cameras, none of them bought back, but your program bought back into the community.
Yeah.
Now, what you mean by the program?
Community buyback, meaning that they just didn't come here to take from the community. It's costing nothing for the city to run this program. It is at zero cost to the tax dollars, and it's not
nice.
costing us anything. And they gave back by hiring locally. So that's the buyback that I'm
Go ahead,
talking
caller.
about.
You live?
Hello?
Hi. You got a question?
Meemaws bring hands in the jar.
Hi, Meemaw, throwing hands in the jar.
And as you can see, I could use you.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So, Meemaw, let us know what's happening with your product.
Oh, it's booming as usual, and I had an opportunity to really prove it with my own hair because I converted to natural, and my hair started shedding real bad and what have you, and I just put some Meemaws on there, and in a couple of weeks my hair was just blossoming as usual. So it's a very good product, and it's all natural.
And put that number out there, Meemaw, so somebody can call you. Now, this corona is not infecting your business?
Absolutely not. Matter of fact, it's booming.
Wow. What's the number?
The telephone number is
Now, Pastor Bloomdrone, right? Now, her husband been shot.
No, geez.
Her husband was shot in front of her door. And if you was up, they would have caught the shooter. He's still on the road.
Well, hopefully, if we'd been up and people knew about it, the guy wouldn't have done it in the first place.
Right.
That's the objective.
Hold on 1 second, I gotta play the legal.
All right, we got a break, folks. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Do you guys want to slide down there? Maybe I can turn this and make that a little better.
All right, we back, folks.
That wasn't a very long break.
I know.
That was just a second.
Well, so is that a break? We still on break? Hey, we back, folks. All right, thank you, Pastor.
All right then, don't forget, 466-5821. And Aaron
You're fine. I'm fine, Aaron.
And I love the eye in the sky.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
wait.
All for it. I've been telling others about it, and he was right. If they had that in operation, when my husband was shot right out in front of the house, we had just come from church, I do believe that they would have been apprehended.
Yeah.
And
And again, the whole goal though isn't necessarily. I mean, our goal is to deter the person in the first place, because if he knows he's going to get caught, hopefully he doesn't do it in the first place.
Right.
Yes.
Right, because once they get away, they go and shoot somebody else.
Right. And it's a small number of people that are doing a large part of the crime. Our goal is to get them to stop on their own, because they know they're going to get caught.
Right.
How about what?
No, they'll get caught.
They will get caught.
They
Yeah.
can't get away.
All right. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Pastor.
Next caller. You join us with Dr. Ross Nutt in the studio right now as we speak.
And Joyous Jones.
Enjoy
Emmanuel Ringo.
Emmanuel Ringo.
And Larry the Cable Guy.
The cable guy.
Oh.
Did you really say cable guy? You know, he's famous though.
I've been drinking too much. Sorry.
What you drinking?
It's
Diet Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
It's Friday afternoon though. I should be drinking a beer.
You know what? I used to be a salesperson for 7-Up Bottling Company. But don't you know Mountain Dew is one of the top motivation drink sodas out there? You know that, right?
I know it's got
That's for
twice the
Red Bull.
caffeine, and regular Mountain Dew has got twice the sugar. So
Right.
you keep it away from the kids.
Keep it away from the kids, bro.
Especially while they're out on break.
Now you said she said Red Bull.
No,
Red Bull and
I
vodka?
don't drink
That's not.
Red Bull.
That's not. Oh, Red Bull and vodka.
Don't go there. Never
All
mind.
right. We back, folks. Taxi Talk Radio and television show. You also can join us on Taxi Talk Radio on Facebook Live. Y'all want to see us? You just go right to Taxi Talk TV.
That's good.
They
That's
look
good.
right all over the world.
Yeah, but now they can see what we look like.
Right.
Yes.
What if
Gosh.
they want to go to your website to see how the dots work and how they can catch you?
Yeah. So what we do is we actually bring up if anyone's seen Google Earth, we do essentially Google Earth live with a TiVo capability. So just like you can go into Google Earth, you can see your car parked in your driveway. What we do is we just update that type of picture once a second. So we go to the scene of a crime, follow people from the crime scene forward in time to the house that they go to, backwards in time to the house that they came from. We note whenever they pass any of the ground-based cameras that allows us to go in and get a better quality image. And then we use that, we feed that to investigators that allow them to help solve the crime. And it's used in court. It's mostly used to help figure out who did the crime in the first place. If we can figure out who did it, we can get them to stop by capturing them and getting them to understand that if they do it, they're going to get caught, so they don't do it in the first place.
Right. Man, I know by me seeing this, been in a lot of meetings, I know that it's going to deter crime. So what you think? Because a lot of people going to say, what if somebody chokes somebody out? What if they stab somebody in a house? But when they jump out and run outside, you're going to see the dots running, right?
Yeah, so again, people say, well, what happens if it's done inside? The fact is that in the 39 murders that I've witnessed, everyone flees the scene. They
Right.
don't want to be there when the police officers show up, right?
Not very few wait
Yeah.
for
So not too many wait for the police to show up. So what happens is, even if it's done inside, you'll see people run out of the house, jump into a car, and then we follow the car to and from the crime scene. Not only do we follow the one car, we follow all of the cars.
Right.
And that's not, we sometimes we follow 40 cars as they leave the scene. We did that in the shooting of the 92-year-old and 88-year-old. And all the cars in the parking lot left. We followed all of them. None of them looked particularly suspicious. And when we briefed the officers, they said, well, that's interesting because we think he ran off on foot. And then what we did is we followed the smaller dots, and we followed a guy 5 blocks. Within about 10 minutes, we had him to a house. They pulled up that address, found out who had used that address in a police action, pulled up that guy's mugshot. That guy's mugshot matched the picture from the crime scene on the store video, and bingo, we had a name.
And how many minutes was
Wow.
that? You know,
Well-
how many minutes or hours that guy was apprehended?
It took, well, unfortunately, because we were secret at the time, they didn't want anyone to know that we were there.
Right.
They didn't want to act on it right away. So even though they knew who the guy was, they knew where he was, they didn't go in and get him because they were worried about the word getting out how we did it. And essentially, the guy got away down to North Carolina, but then they captured him down there and brought him back.
Wow. So, you know,
But we would have had him within an hour and a
you
half.
also would have had who killed Detective Susan. How y'all know what I was
Man,
going
because
to
that's
say?
on everybody's mind.
Because everybody is still, that is an unsolved crime, and we would have known in minutes who if he was back there by himself.
And actually, that was right smack in the middle of our main orbit, which was
Right.
over the Western Police District. So we covered all the way from John Hopkins Medical Center all the way to Edmondson Village.
Yep.
From John Hopkins University down to Port Covington.
And that's smack in the middle.
With just one orbit.
Right.
So now if we have another aircraft orbiting over the Eastern Police District,
Oh, wow.
it goes from about Penn North to the county, to the city line on the east.
That's about 90% of,
Right.
of the
And-
whole entire city.
And then once we have the third airplane, we're gonna have one over the Northern Police District that will cover Park Heights, Langston Hughes, and that whole northern area. The
George
third
Mitchell.
one, the third
That's
one,
your-
yeah, and
that's
that's
your
supporting
neighborhood.
George.
Right.
And then the other one would be over the Southwest Police District, which would reach all the way down to Cherry Hill.
So have this process ever saved anyone from getting out of jail or?
Yeah, actually, we've had 2 people who got out of major crimes. One was a,
So not only does it, I didn't mean to cut you off, not only does it solve crimes, but
Yes.
it can also help you
correct.
correct
410.
what someone has been
481
wrongly, unjustly.
1010.
So,
No, I'm just saying if anybody on the phone line, they can call in. Chrissy, anybody next? All right, go ahead. Go for it.
I'm fine. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, we've helped several people. Not only do we help law enforcement, but we also help public defenders and defense attorneys.
We
Anyone
still
out
on?
there?
Chrissy, we still on there, right? This is our new way of the radio station.
I think they're there, but
Social distancing.
yes. So yeah, we've helped both public defenders and defense attorneys. The most recently, a young man involved in an officer-involved shooting was found. They threw out the case
Wow.
because he was actually the one that was shot, and there was some differences. The real fact is that one of the things that bothered me the most was the fact that the young man pulled into a plowed parking spot to let the officers go by. The officers noticed that he didn't have a safety belt on, jumped out.
Safety belt, seat belt. Right?
Yes, seat belt. So they jump out of unmarked cars. He freaks out, throws it in reverse, tries to get away, which, oh, by the way, I would do if I were in Baltimore
Right.
and someone pulled up next to me and jumped out of the car with whatever.
Right.
And
Right.
so.
He's afraid.
And in the event of that, the officers ended up shooting him.
Oh my
And
goodness.
2 of those officers turns out to have just had been indicted as part of the gun trace task force.
My goodness.
So, again, we're happy to provide that sort of information and support to the defense attorneys to get that case started out.
Anybody on there? Dr. Ross is in the building. We also have Steve Boucher. He's our producer for the TV show. And Steve, if you have any questions, you can just type it on the screen, and Dr. Ross will gladly answer you, right, Dr. Ross?
Yep, I see him there.
So you're just going to have to type any questions for Dr. Ross. He will answer you. So everybody on Facebook, and they have any questions?
Can you hear us, Steve?
Ross
Any
will
questions,
be able
Steve?
To answer questions.
I can hear you, sir.
Can.
So,
technology work?
Okay, CSP technology, the community support program, we take a very huge camera that flies around the city and in an aircraft, takes a picture of the city every second at resolutions that we can just barely see people. But it's a very large image. We cover 32 square miles at a time. And then when we get told that a crime has occurred, we go back in time to that location and follow the people to and from that crime scene. And by doing that, we're able to follow those people past ground-based cameras. We're able to follow them past, Ring doorbells. We're able to follow them past buses, and each bus in the city of Baltimore has 4 high-definition cameras. We're able to then work to identify them by knowing what house they went into, what house they came out of, the make, model, and year of the car that they drove, along with the ground-based images that help us identify exactly who they are.
That's awesome.
So,
Do we have any
Just one more
callers?
question. What exactly does an analyst do?
an analyst, what exactly
That's a
does an
good
analyst
question.
do? An analyst is going to go in, they're the ones who get told that there was a crime that occurred, and then what we do is we follow the people to and from that crime scene. And so what they will do is they'll look at the screen just like Google Earth. They'll start clicking on the vehicles that left the crime scene to create what we call a track. They will then put that information together into an investigation report. That investigation report is briefed to detectives and investigators as to what's going on. Is it working?
Chrissy, any callers?
No call.
Thank you. So, folks, 410-481-1010.
Steve, you got any other questions?
Can I ask you one more question? Something that Larry mentioned about being in a house and someone preventing a crime.
Say that again?
So Larry had talked about someone preventing a crime in a house, and you said you're able to track the people.
Yeah, so if there's a crime inside a house,
Can I ask you? So
Yeah.
Let me just ask you this: if someone was to just quietly choke someone or stab them, and they didn't run but just walked out the house and went about their business, could you track that?
Yeah.
I mean, if they didn't
That's
run,
like
how would
scene
you
of a
know that
crime.
crime was committed? If
Well-
they choked somebody with a pillow or
Gotcha.
stabbed them and didn't run out the house.
hopefully this isn't a personal example or anything.
Steve, you
Yeah.
haven't did that, have you?
No.
But I mean, stuff like that happens.
Well, I'll talk you through that real quickly. So what will happen eventually is that someone is found, someone will call 911. Even if it was 2 days ago, we could go back in time, watch the house, and anyone who came or went from the house associated with that major
What
crime.
did I tell you yesterday? Then Dr. Ross, you telling them what I told them. So go ahead, Dr. Ross.
Yeah. So again, if there's a crime inside a house, even if we're told hours later, we can go back in time, follow the people to and from the crime scene, even if we don't know it at the time. One of the murders we show a lot, the only thing we got was man found in an alleyway, shot, no witnesses. We weren't even told about it for 8 hours after it occurred. From that incident, just knowing a man found in an alleyway, shot, no witnesses, we were able to identify 12 vehicles 12 locations, 2 cartel headquarters, a major drug delivery, about 45 witnesses who weren't there, supposedly, but
Right.
were there,
Okay.
and where they all came from. We had to follow that group to a second murder, and after they did that, those guys confessed to a whole lot of murders when they used our information to basically, they went into one guy and said, tell me everything you know about this murder. He goes, I don't know nothing. They go to the second guy and they say, tell me everything you know about this murder. He said, I don't know nothing. They go back to the first guy and said, this is what your buddy told us, laid out the whole case of what we told them, and the guy confesses, and then they went down the line and rolled the whole group up. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yes, that
So,
was brilliant.
but we don't want to give away all our secrets.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the real-
Steve, why did you ask that question?
Lord, I just wanted to know how effective the program was.
yeah.
Now,
So-
now you know how effective it is.
I personally have witnessed 39 murders.
Jeez.
One of the things that people say is that the kids and other things don't care if they get caught. They're not deterrable, if you will. And I will argue with you that it says if they don't care if they get caught, why do they all run away as soon as they shoot somebody?
They don't want to get caught.
Yes, they don't want to get caught and they don't want to get shot.
Right.
But so we feel that by having everyone know what we do and how we do it. Matter of fact, Archie wants us to brief every single high school kid, not because we think the high school kids are doing it, but they can tell their brothers,
Right.
their cousins, their uncles,
There you
their aunts sometimes.
Right, and they're
What the problem?
impressionable.
Yeah.
They can change
Yeah.
their behavior.
My best experience is briefing this guy. His girlfriend had come to the one prior. She brought him to the next one. He sat there with his arms crossed the whole time.
Like this.
Yeah. And at the end, I said, "Sir, you've been awfully quiet. What do you think?" And he just looks up and says, "Man, I'm not doing nothing."
Mm-hmm.
And that was the best answer we could come up with.
When every time you say don't come to Baltimore, go where?
Go to DC.
Tell them.
No. Are you in DC? Sorry
Where you
about
from,
that.
DC?
Stay away from here. If you got to do any crimes, stay away from DC.
Find your own solution.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to do any crime.
Right.
Right.
We want to make Baltimore and DC and St. Louis and Houston and New Orleans and Detroit and Chicago all better places to live.
So tell me, Dr. Ross, now, it's like 6-month program, like a pilot program here?
This, because we hadn't had an evaluation, because most of the work we've done has been done quietly. It's against what we want to do.
Right.
Matter of fact, when we came out here last time in 2016, we wanted it to be very public. Baltimore Police Department didn't think that it would work. So they didn't, they said, yeah, this sounds too fantastic. We don't believe you.
Right,
Show us. Right? And I know Missouri, the show me state. So we came out and we showed him. The problem we had was that they didn't tell anyone. When it did eventually came out, it pissed a lot of people off not because of how
That
effective
name
we were.
is Eyes in the Sky. Tell them what's the name now.
The new program
The new
is
program
called
name,
the
Steve.
Aerial
Investigative
Investigative Research.
Say that again.
The AIR program.
The ad program?
Yes.
So the name of it is not Eyes in the Sky.
Well,
It
that's
was
the
never
colloquial.
official. That's
The
that
real
sounds
name
great.
has always been the Community Support Program.
Community Support Program. So
And then
now
that's
the new name, so people can know, is what?
Aerial Investigative
Spell
Research.
that.
Aerial?
Yeah.
Boy, you got me bad.
Because
A-E-R-I.
hey Steve,
I was a math major.
I want Steve to type that up there so that people can know. So when the commercials come on television, we sitting here with Dr. Ross Minut, Julie Jones, of course, Larry the Celebrity Cab Driver,
Not the cable guy?
Archie,
Larry the Cable Guy.
Larry the Cable Guy, you know,
Manuel Ringo?
Manny Ringo.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
I ain't. It's not
Where's
that.
the music at?
I don't know. Where's the music? I love his music.
It's still on a bad day?
We're not in the studio, so we can't control the music that goes. You know?
Okay. Well, if she wanted to play Still on a Bad Day, I love that
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
Do we have any callers trying to call in?
I have the original. I don't have the remix.
The remix.
So, yeah, he stepped up to the game and got a. You want to? What time is it? How many
Steve,
minutes
do you
we
have
got?
any more questions out there?
You could do a original about.
Absolutely.
30 seconds or 60 seconds.
Fire away.
What does CSP technology provide?
Well, the technology itself provides that Google Earth-like image once a second. And so we then process that, downlink it, and it's available in about 3 to 5 seconds on the ground. That's what we built. Originally, I built it for the U.S. Air Force to help the counter IED problem in Iraq. And it worked over Fallujah and Ramadi for years. And it helped save a lot of American and Iraqi lives because we were able to figure out who was planning the bombs, where they came from, and where they came back from. Yep.
That's it. So,
Research program.
All right.
caller, go ahead, caller.
Yes, you mentioned a memorandum of understanding. Do you have any contracts with anyone, and if so, do those contracts produce revenue? Thank you.
With
Can
the
she repeat
memorandum of
that?
understanding.
Yeah, the memorandum of understanding that we have with the city of Baltimore that is in the process of being finalized and approved. We get paid for that, but not by the city. So we do this at cost, so we're not making any money off the city of Baltimore. We're providing a service to the city, and it's being paid for by an outside organization. Not only are they paying for the service, but they're also paying for the oversight, the outside organization that's making sure that we only look at where we're allowed to look at. They're also paying for the investigative research that goes on with it to evaluate how effective we are at solving crime, deterring crime, and building the trust between law enforcement and the community. So University of Baltimore will be involved, Morgan State, New York University, and
New York.
and the RAND Corporation, the policing project.
Okay.
They do a lot of work with technologies and police to understand how effective it is.
All right, thank you, caller. So go with the next caller. Caller, you live.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, partner.
Fine, how are you?
This sound like Mark C.
Yeah, this is me, man.
Hey, Mark.
What y'all getting ready to do, Mr. Nuts, because I've never seen it like this, man. People shooting people just because they can. I had a son that was robbed in broad daylight down the Old Town Mall. 3 young men looked like him with bandanas on. Took the robbed him and his friend for the fall their phones. Thank God they didn't kill him.
Thank goodness.
And it's just, like, me and man, we heard so many women testify the other day, man, about their children, leaving their children.
Yeah, when we was out Cherry Hill.
Yeah. The sense of violence, man.
Yeah, we gotta stop it, and I think the best way to stop it is to convince people that if they do it, they're gonna get caught. And that's I mean, you gotta tell the, I don't want to call them the kids, they're not the kids, they're the 20 and the 30-year-olds.
Thank you, Mark.
That, it's not going to be acceptable, it's got to stop, and, hopefully that will drive it down quickly.
Next caller. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Go ahead, caller.
Hi.
How you doing? Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
What's your name, caller?
Hakeem.
Hakeem.
Key, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Great. Good to hear everyone.
Aki is a Central Committee member here in
Yes.
Baltimore, and he represents
He's-
Harlem Park area.
Okay. That's nice.
That's,
A lot of people were shot down there.
When are you running for mayor?
Well, we have enough people running for mayor.
Is there anyone not running for mayor?
Yes.
Well, Mary
Yes.
Washington dropped out the race.
Mary Washington dropped out.
Yeah, Senator Mary Washington dropped out.
She said her hands were full with what she was doing as senator.
Go ahead, Hakeem.
Yes. But I wanted to let everybody know, and I wanted to ask Mr. McNutt actually, because you all can go to, everybody can go to the Baltimore Police Facebook page, and you'll see a discussion. I can't remember, that was the first series of discussions that, and you may have mentioned it, that the police commissioner did just in the past had a discussion and a Q&A about the program. And I don't know if he did the Morgan State thing and the other one.
I think the Morgan State one was done instead of Morgan State because they closed the city, they closed the university. I think they did it over Facebook Live. There's Archie.
Okay. Oh,
He's outside now? Yeah, he's giving me trouble. Alright. But yeah, so I think you can go do that on Facebook Live. If you go to BPD's Facebook page, you can actually pull that up and see that. So.
right. So yeah, so I agree with what you said, Mr. Not to keep, deterrence if people know that they're going to get caught. They don't think twice, and that's just a reality. I know the police commissioner said that, that there's going to be some studies that, after the fact to determine if that, has been a reality. But, like you said, we already know, and even, if you talk to young people, and they will say that they will think twice about crime, so it shouldn't be such a big, type of study. I mean, but it's good that they're doing it.
Well,
we appreciate that, but
you got to build the data for data-driven policing is what they want.
Right.
And I'm convinced, and I put a lot of effort into it. Are you going to be on at 4:30 with us?
4:30. Don't forget, folks, we come back on at 4:30 on
I
10
can't we look
a.m.
forward to you joining us at 4:30.
yes, I'll be on 4:30. Thank you all.
Sounds great.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
All right, so let's wrap it up. I know we got a couple of minutes. Any more callers? Go ahead, Dr. Ross.
All right, we're excited to be out here. We're getting ready to go. We're grateful for the city leadership to support us coming back. We think we can have a big impact, but that's what we're here to show. We're grateful for all the people who have been pulling to get us back, including all of the folks here, Larry, Joyce, Manuel, Archie Williams, a whole lot of others, even Aaron Sims, who's out there. I talk to him every once in a while. He was the one who originally got the group together to listen to what we do. We appreciate all of them. And again, Larry, thank you for your support over here. And we're looking forward to helping the city of Baltimore.
Appreciate you. And Steve, our engineer all the way in Washington, D.C., we cannot bring it. They cannot go to Washington, D.C.
We got to use someplace else. We'll say Philadelphia.
Right.
How does that sound?
All right. So anyway, folks, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Chrissy did an outstanding job. Ringo, we're going to end with your song, Still on a Bad Day. With Lisa here and Julius. So don't forget, folks, come back 4:30 till 5:30 along with Dr. Ross. I might just.
Are you going to sing it or are you going to let Manuel sing it?
Manuel, you can sing it. And Chrissy, thank you so much.
Is he gonna fire it up for you?
And Steve, thank you.
I gotta go to commercial.
All right,
All right.
we done. Have a great day.
Thanks. Good day.
There you go,
We're gonna do it
folks.
at 4:30. We're gonna do it at 4:30.
Did that work?
Yeah. So that's we are. Hey, Steve.
Councilman Bill Henry.
How many more minutes you got for us? You can turn it off.
We need a controller who will hold government accountable.
Hey, Steve, what's going on, man? How many minutes you got for us? What you want us to talk about?
Oh, we done. Did that work or not? Did you hear us?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But was you
They can't see you.
was you happy with the results?
Well, we still live on television, folks.
He said Larry happy. What'd you say? He said Larry happy.
Larry happy.
Yeah, I'm happy, man. So we still rolling on TV Live right here. And for everybody to see us, where can they find us and where can they follow us at?
They can follow you at Taxi Talk Live on Facebook. Go to your Facebook page, Taxi Talk Live.
All right.
There you go.
Sounds great.
And so, Dr. Ross, what we're going to be doing, hopefully we're going to be communicating with you, do a special broadcast on you, and follow you with your permission to let the people see and
Absolutely.
how they accomplishment, what you're doing, how many people deter from committing a crime.
That's the hard part, though, is knowing how many people you deter.
Right.
I will tell you, though, that there's a chart. If you go to Baltimore Sun murder data,
Let them see.
if you go to the Baltimore Sun murder data in Baltimore, you can actually see this chart. where you see the lines go up. And as that line goes up, that represents the murders over time. My goal is to get that curve to bend.
Right.
And that would represent the number of
Tell
people.
them what you want to get to bend. Let the people
But
see.
you know,
They want
what you
to
said,
know.
I used to do my stocks when I used to get stocks. They used
Right.
to go up like this, and then go, down.
Yeah, mine usually go up like this, and then I buy them, and then they go down like this.
But we talk about murders now,
Yes,
going
and
on.
those are lives. I mean, when people say 348 murders, what they
That
don't
is
represent
the
is that's
families.
348 people
That
that
have
were killed.
families.
I know just by using a number like 348, it depersonalizes it.
Right.
And if you could show the people's names and other stuff, the problem I have is the Baltimore Sun, it depends on where the person's killed. If they're killed in Lotus Point or Federal Hill, they get pages and pages written after them.
Right.
If they're killed in Sandtown, Winchester,
A blow.
they may be one paragraph in an article covering 3 murders.
All right.
And that
Well,
bothers me.
there you go, folks. Thank you, Steve. Thank
you, Steve.
everybody. We appreciate everybody. I want y'all to share, and follow us. So, do you have a Facebook page where people can watch this?
Facebook, no, but the website communitysupport.info or communitywithsolutions.com.
So they can follow you on that?
They can see information on the program. They can actually see us
a live
in our
presentation.
67 community briefings. You can see some of the videos there.
All right.
So
Anything else you'd like to let the
No,
people
if
know?
they go on to Community with Solutions, they can actually see the program
The briefing.
and how it works, the briefing.
All right, Steve. Ringo, anything you want to say?
I just can't wait till they here.
All right. And when you going up again, Dr. Ross?
we'll start flying just after April 1st.
Just after April the 1st, folks. So just behave
I'm
yourself.
glad you didn't say get it in quick, right?
Right.
No, I didn't say that.
Join us again at 4:30.
Join us again at 4:30, folks. Don't forget, you can tune in to Taxi Talk Radio Live. And you also can go to www.olbbaltimore.com. That's the web. Or 1-877, what is it? 904-1010.
10:10. That's it.
Long
Sure.
distance.
Okay.
And local 410-481-1010.
Yep.
And ask Dr. Ross whatever you want to ask him. He here in Baltimore,
He's
folks.
live
He
today.
ready to launch this program.
Better Baltimore.
Steve,
Yes.
anything else you'd like to say before you end this television show?
Done.
There you go. That's it.
Bye.
Ba-da-ba.
Yeah, we heard enough of you guys.
Yeah. All right. There you go, folks.
Next time you guys come in, there'll be either a 75 or an 85-inch TV there.
Okay.
And we'll put a camera there so that we can see everyone
Everybody.
here.
Okay.
And it'll be a lot more convenient.
Okay.
And we'll also have sound systems and microphones and other stuff.
All right, folks. We out of here. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad I hope that worked out all right.
Sorry about that, Larry. My finger hit the button.
Your feet hit the button. You fired.
Finger, not
No,
Are
you're
we on
not.
or off?
Is it good at 4:30 or just doing the radio?
Now, you want to do this TV again at 4:30? You want to set it up because you got to hit the links now. If y'all like this, so y'all want to do that again, or
I'm game with it if you want.
all right, go ahead and set it up. Set the other app up, and we get ready for you at 4:30.
But 4:30.
Is that okay?
Send it to your phone.
All right,
Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you, Steve.
All right, Steve.
All right. Okay, no problem, guys.
we out.
Great job.
Great job, Steve. Don't let that foot hit that button next time.
Quickly.
All right.
Thank you, sir.